Hey guys, what's up? I just woke up, and I don't feel like turning the bright lights on right now, but I'm doing the top 50 games of my personal favorite games. So a lot of these are going to be like nostalgia reasons, things that make them why I like them. However, you're going to disagree on some stuff because, you know, I'm going to pick the game I like in the series, not the game that you all would want. So that's going to be interesting. But I have a couple rules. It's going to be top 50, and my rule is one game from every series. So I can do like a 2D version and a 3D version. I don't know if I have any on the list, but I'm going to be doing one game from each series. So if I pick, a Zelda game, I can only pick one Zelda game. I can't pick like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So I haven't used this website before, but I saw Moist Critical do this. So let's go with our first game. And my first game is going to be Kingdom Hearts 1. So Kingdom Hearts 1 was my very first PS2 game that I've ever gotten. So I think that is awesome. I got the PS2 and Kingdom Hearts at the exact same time. So for a while, that was the only thing I was able to actually play. Okay, so I got the numbers over here on the right. And as far as I know, I think these are going to be in order. It might be a little bit muddy farther down the list, but for the most part, it's all going to be in order. So I got when Kingdom Hearts came out, I think it was like a day one of Kingdom Hearts, I got the PS2. And the reason Kingdom Hearts is on here instead of the other Kingdom Hearts, like Kingdom Hearts 2 or 358 by 2 days or anything, is the designs in Kingdom Hearts 1, the story of Kingdom Hearts 1, the cutscenes. I just like those so much better. And like I said, because it was my very first PS2 game, I had Nintendo before that, but it being my first PS2 game, I think that makes a big difference as far as why that one's my favorite. Next, I'm going to add a Zelda in there. I have a Zelda tattoo. So it's going to be Majora's Mask. However, I am going to put Majora's Mask 3D on there. I think the 3D Ocarina of Time and the 3D Majora's Mask is better than the original. It's just the original with better graphics. And in Majora's Mask case, there is some more improvements on top of that. Majora's Mask, it is the darkest Zelda game. It is a story that, like, you're basically taking the soul of other people, and then you're wearing their soul to impersonate them. And other people know it's not quite right, but they don't know why it's not right. And there's even dialogue where they say you remind them of their kid that they haven't talked to in a long time. But it's dark because you remind them of it because you're wearing his kid's soul. And that's kind of dark and twisted. And I really like Majora's Mask. Also with the whole slowing down time, the Skull Kid and all that kind of stuff. And it's really after Ocarina of Time, the hero of time, like, he couldn't stay grown up. He couldn't go back to the forest. He no longer had a fairy. So, and the Deku Tree who was protecting him is gone now. So Hero of Time really had nowhere else to go. And it's kind of his story of what happened. We know later on, like in Twilight Princess, the Hero of Time ends up passing away and he's kind of trapped in like the Lost Woods or whatever. But other than that, I really like that one. My next one is going to be it was controversial, but I have to pick it. So Cyberpunk 2077, it doesn't matter if it has the Phantom Pain or whatever, but it does increase it a lot. So I'm going to put Cyberpunk 2077 is my third favorite game of all time. So I love this game even when it came out. So I played on a Xbox One X, and it had like really no issues at all on launch. PlayStation is where all the issues was. Xbox didn't really have any. However, after they fixed the patch that fixed the PlayStation version also caused cars to crash in Xbox. So they should have just had the patch on one console and not the Xbox, because it kind of messed up the Xbox a bit. But if you're using fast traveling, the cars doesn't matter. However, since then, everything is fixed. Everything is better. They keep updating the game. They announced another update even after they said they weren't updating anymore. they surprisingly ordered and added another update. So I have beat this game like 5-6 times. So I've done a full playthrough on Nomad, Corpo, and Street Kid. Street Kid is what I start out with. That's like my main. I have also beat it 4th time on Street Kid, and I just completed a 5th time 100% on Street Kid. But I'm also doing my first time. I just completed my first time 100% of Phantom. So it's really fun. I love the game. There's so many ways you could play the game. Like I did like Nomad, no cyberware. That was fun. I did Corpo super cyberwared up. And then I did Street Kid, which is kind of like a mix. My most recent Street Kid was mostly cyberware and pistols. So like just walking through and like either doing like system collapse, contagion, or just forcing them to like suicide. They're really fun. All of the vehicles are cool. I tend to go through there's so many different endings and everything you could do. So many different choices that actually matter. I love that aspect of it. Now, when it comes down to it, like, I think my first playthrough on Street Kid, I chose to give Jackie's body to his mom. And then, let's see, what would be the other big things? I gave Jackie's body to his mom. And then I decided to give my body to Johnny when it came to like, because it's like, oh, well, he's going to, he won't die if he's in the body. So morally, you should just give it to Johnny. So those are my big choices. Because of that, there's a dialogue option that says you should have gave the body to Victor, because then he could have dressed it up and then his mom wouldn't have to see him all covered in blood and stuff. And then other than that, I heard the Pan Am ending was good. So my newest run through Street Kid, I chose to give it to Victor. Found out Arasaka steals the body and his mom doesn't get it, and you lose the entire funeral quest line, or a quest where because they just give you Jackie's bike if you give it to Victor. And then, but if you give it to his mom, you have to go to a huge wake and ceremony, and then you get the bike in the garage and all of that stuff, and you have more dialogue with Mama Wells and Misty and all kinds of stuff. So it sucks to miss out on that, but you also don't have people telling you you're shitty for not giving him to Victor to dress him in a suit first, since we know that's not going to happen. And then the second thing is, the Pan Am ending is probably the best ending as far as like for V, because it's the only ending because as a female V, when you do Judy, that is the only ending that Judy has a good ending, other than like a good ending with your character. Pan Am has a good ending. Most of the characters have a pretty decent or good ending, and then it's also implied that you might actually survive. So those are the good reasons for that. But that is number 3. Okay, next one is a Souls game. We're doing Elden Ring. So while Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 are good, Sekiro and all that, the only other one that I would consider is Bloodborne. However, Elden Ring was just so fun. I beat Elden Ring freaking like 7 or 8 times. Put hundreds, like 500, 600, 700 hours into the game. I ran my main build. I've done every possible build, but my main build was a double blood dagger using just 2 Reduvia blades. That was super fun. When you're doing stuff like a blood build, Melania is not a hard boss at all to defeat. However, the thing that is a little difficult to defeat on like with a blood dagger build is the Elden Beast himself. Just because he's flying around, it is difficult to get to him when you're using nothing but daggers. But other than that, I really liked Elden Ring. It was really fun. Beat it with like after I beat it on my own. and I had to help like 9 other friends beat the game, and I basically had to jump in their game while they sat over on the side, just kind of doing nothing. All right, next, I'm going to do Gex. Okay, so my actual list is Gex. Enter the Gecko is the one that I'm adding on here. However, they already released digitally, and they're about to release physically Gex Trilogy. And why wouldn't I just add the trilogy? I am the kind of person that I don't like double packs. Okay, so if it has like, oh, this disc has Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 on it, I would rather have 2 separate games, one for Kingdom Hearts 1 and one for Kingdom Hearts 2. They look better on a bookshelf, and I just like those better. However, as far as like picking games to like keep forever, it is probably better to get double packs when it's cheaper, and they're a way for you to always have it. Gex, growing up, was one of my favorite games of all time. It is a shame that they haven't released a Gex. Even the Gex Trilogy is just a port of the original 3 Gexes. So Gex 1 is on like PlayStation 1. And then I played Gex on N64. So I played Enter the Gecko and Deep Cover Gecko. So when it comes down to it, Gex is such a fun character, and he could do so much more. I think there was an interview where Square Enix, who kind of own the Gex license, they said they have no interest doing anything with Gex. However, they said if anyone wants to do anything with Gex, is just to let them know, and they might be able to get stuff done with Gex. And I think that is what Limited Run did, is they got a trilogy, like a physical trilogy of Gex for that. So that's really cool that it's coming now on like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. However, the entire purpose of Gex is Gex jumps into games, right? Or like, not games, but into TV shows. Like, they're all around like Jurassic Park, Looney Tunes, Mission Impossible, all of that kind of stuff. He just like jumps in, and he has a bunch of like pickup lines and a little raunchy humor and stuff here and there. And it's badass, you know? He's like, he has a human spy girlfriend, but even though he's a gecko, he's kind of cool. He's what like Geico wants to be. Gex is awesome. I love Gex so much. He's probably my favorite mascot, obviously, because he's so far up. But imagine what they could do with Gex. Instead of like just throwing, like, if he still did the TV shows where he jumped into TV shows, if they made a new Gex, you got Walking Dead, you got, you know, Dexter, you got Game of Thrones, you got so many new options that they could do. Or you can go a completely different route and be like, okay, well, what if he jumped into movies? Or like, you know, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, or what if he jumped into video games? Like, you could jump into a Legend of Zelda, you could jump into Cyberpunk. And while they're not exclusively, like, even when he wasn't in Looney Tunes with Bugs Bunny, but he was in a Looney Tunes style cartoon with a cartoony, like, rabbit and so on. But he was the rabbit, or he was in a rabbit outfit. So there's so many things they could do if they just brought Gex back. And it sucks that they haven't. Okay, next one is going to be another mascot. And this is going to be Banjo-Kazooie. Love the music of Banjo-Kazooie. It's awesome. It's a rare game. A lot of the rare games has a lot of Grant Kirkhope in it. And Grant Kirkhope is pretty awesome as far as what he does. But Banjo-Kazooie, you go through, you collect music notes, you collect jigsaw puzzles, you make the jigsaw puzzles. It can be a little difficult to like complete all of the secret puzzles for the cheats in his house, but it's super fun. Jinzos are really cool, although annoying. You have Grunty, which is cool. I like the transformation scene. Like when you lose, you see them transform, and like Banjo kind of failed at that. Banjo-Tooie is also really good, except I like the original is what I'm nostalgic for, even though I love the second one. I'm never going to talk about Nuts and Bolts. They ruined it. It would have been a good game if it wasn't Banjo-Kazooie. But Banjo-Kazooie is great. Bottles is fun. Mumbo Jumbo is awesome, even though he's kind of in it for himself. Love Banjo-Kazooie. It's a super easy game to 100% as well. I have a 100% playthrough somewhere on YouTube. But other than that, Banjo-Kazooie. I wanted to throw Spyro on here, and I might later down the road. But a game I liked more than Spyro is actually Skylanders. But I think Trap Team is the one I enjoyed a lot more because of how they kind of did everything with, you can get the bad guys and stuff like that. The only thing about Trap Team is you got to figure, or no, that's the other one. Either way, like you got the little crystals and everything, and those are fun. It has all of the other past Skylander creatures. If you're going to think about it, like you could say Superchargers or Imaginators is better, but Trap Team I think had the best Sky Stones or whatever it's called. The card game that's in the Skylanders universe, I think they peaked at around like Swap Force and Trap Team. I really enjoyed it in Trap Team. I think it was really fun. And you had like the bosses with the cards, and that was cool. I can't remember the game after Trap Team, the little card game in the game, but it was my favorite on there. I love the characters. I always use Trigger Happy, but yeah, Skylanders, Trap Team. It sucks that the entire thing got so drowned out, because when you only had Skylanders, they could flourish, and they did for years. But as soon as you had Disney Infinity, and then you end up having the Lego, which the Lego is cool, but then you end up having, Amiibo. It wasn't the issue. I don't think it was a failure for too many games of that coming out. I think what it was a failure for was Walmart, Target, and those stores directly, because they set aside like 8 feet, 2 4-foot sections specifically of like Skylanders, but then they didn't want to expand that section. So when other games started doing all of this stuff, they just kind of slammed everything there. So that means like they never had any of the new figures. They'd have 20 of one Skylander. They'd have like 20 of one Amiibo. And because they never like extended the actual spot that they had for those figures, it means you can never find them. And because you can never find them, sales are not going to go there. They're going to go fly down. And then it's going to end up ruining all of the games, not just one. I think that was the main issue. All right. Next is a game that I put so many times in, and it's going to be Stardew Valley. Yep, Stardew Valley is number 8 on my list, top 10. It has to be. Stardew Valley is amazing. And the dude who, it's Something Ape who made it. I'm waiting for his Chocolatier game. Stardew Valley, if you like farm simulators, there is not a better one than Stardew Valley. Period. It's perfect for a reason. I bought it digitally on every single platform. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Switch. And then I also have the physical version. Yeah, I bought it that many times because it's that good of a game. I wanted to support them as much as I can. So I bought it for every system I own. So Stardew Valley, love the game, fantastic. Next, I like the humor in it, and that's going to be Portal 2. However, if we're going to do, compilations, I think the orange box, where you have Half-Life 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal, even though it's not Portal 2, it's perfect, you know? Portal is just an amazing game. Whether it's Portal 1 or Portal 2, I had a hard time choosing which one I wanted. However, when you add like Half-Life to it and Team Fortress, Portal 1 is just so much better with the other stuff added to it than Portal 2 is by itself. So I'll do the orange box for this. The Portal, I just love the humor. The humor is amazing. I will say the Portal 2 two-player is very good in theory. I would never play it with a loved one. If they're not a gamer, don't play with a loved one. It is going to be like the worst time of your life. I swear. Not very good. Okay. Next is a game that I have spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours in. Minecraft. I play Minecraft. I mostly play on Java. I tried Bedrock and then all of my mobs kept disappearing, which made it impossible to get all of the colors of sheep, because after I got 9 colors of sheep, they would all despawn, and that is just a limitation with Bedrock, and I hate it. But I play Java. So Minecraft, I have to add it on the top 10 just because I have thousands of hours in it. If you are a creative person, you're going to love Minecraft. If you're not creative, you're not going to care for Minecraft. That's all there is to it. If you only care about games for like Call of Duty and Apex Legends and stuff or sports games, no. But if you like gaming as far as like the story, the creativity, the building, all like being able to put your imagination into a game, then Minecraft's going to be the one. I think it'll fall in the same category as like Mario versus Mario Maker, where more creative people can love Mario Maker, while a traditional Mario might be better for a lot of people. Okay, this next game is a game that I bought on PS2 a long time ago. I own it for 360 as well. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's called Wet. And it's this right here. It's like Kill Bill in a Matrix style of Western. You have like a lot of like, it's like Mirror's Edge meets Kill Bill in a Western. I loved it. You're running around, you're like killing people like an old style like Cowgirl or something. But it's just great. I really enjoy the game. It's called Wet. You can probably get it for like $5. I don't know if it did very good, but I think the game is absolutely fun. It's super cool. One of my favorite. All right, next I'm going to do Devil May Cry 3. But there's a trilogy in there called HD. Yeah. All right, specifically Devil May Cry 3. But if there's an HD collection, might as well use it. I love the intro to Devil May Cry. Actually, this one has 4 games on it. I love the intro to Devil May Cry 3. And Devil May Cry 3 is the one that I played the most. Just because it's the one that I like a lot. Dante's humor is awesome in it. I like the other characters like Nero. Even DMC Dante isn't bad. It's just DMC Dante gave like a bunch of like punk rock redneck more than traditional Dante. But Devil May Cry is awesome. If you like Devil May Cry and you want a game that's like kind of similar to it, Dante's Inferno is also a pretty good mention. I do recommend that. Okay, Batman. A Batman Arkham game. I was considering either Arkham City or Arkham Knight. However, there is also an Arkham trilogy. Okay, so my actual list is Arkham Knight because of Joker. The Joker dialogue that you have with him during the entire game is amazing. I love it so much. If it wasn't for that Joker section, section, I would say Arkham City, because Arkham City is arguably a better game. But Arkham Trilogy covers everything. Okay, next. I'm going to do a Fallout game. However, a lot of people are going to be mad at me. Fallout 4. Yeah, so if it wasn't Fallout 4, I also would not have picked New Vegas either. My actual second favorite is Fallout 3. But Fallout 3 is the first one I played. Fallout 4, however, I love how they do the power armor. Just because I can see the power armor, I can get more than one set of power armor. I love the building in Fallout 4. Like I said, I'm into creativity. I like having my own house and everything. And what I do is I do the like, it's not a glitch, but it is kind of in that vein where you drop all of your items, go into the build menu, and then store your items, leave, withdraw them, drop them again, and do that so you get your build bar all the way down. Because I played on console. So I do that so I can build infinitely, and I end up like picking a place like Sanctuary, and I basically rebuild it into a giant civilization where I'm in the center with like a huge like power armor display room, and I basically make an entire town. And then when they come with the DLCs are amazing. I love the DLCs. And then I did the same trick, and I created like a huge vault. And that was annoying with all of the like having stuff in the, where it's like, oh, you can't place this here because the floor is uneven and you have to finagle it. If you use mods, it's so much easier, but I don't really use mods that much. Or at least like I'll like get the platinum trophy or the 100% gamer score before I use any type of mods that might disable that kind of stuff. So Fallout 4 is my favorite Fallout. Next I'm going to do Grand Theft Auto. And I would do Vice City or San Andreas. However, I have to pick Grand Theft Auto 5. If you consider online in it, it's just perfect. But even if you don't consider online being part of Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto 5 had an amazing story. I love the three main characters. They're real fun. Their special abilities were awesome. I liked how you could switch between them. And you can kind of like change it up your own way so you can get more money. I will say the only thing that kind of sucks about GTA 5 is Michael. Specifically Michael for the case of trying to 100% the game. Because a lot of the stuff that Michael wants to buy is super expensive. Like $10 million movie studio expensive. And if you don't do it the right way, it can be grinding to try to get that money. And a lot of cars and shit to kind of max everything out. Because you want to buy all of the properties and stuff like that. And that's where the 100%ing it can be annoying. But only with Michael. I think everyone else buys everything fine. Okay, next, in the same style, Grand Theft Auto, but it's more loopy humor until they ruin the franchise. I'm going to do Saints Row the Third. Saints Row the Third is my first Saints Row game. I have played 4 of them since then. I have not played the new remake, but I have played Saints Row 1, 2, 3, and 4. I actually like Saints Row 4, but I like the humor in Saints Row the Third a little bit more than 4. So I'm going to go with Saints Row the Third. It's basically Grand Theft Auto, but more fun. Also, I like the mini games in the third better than I do in the fourth one. Just because they were fun to do. I think in the fourth one because you had superpowers, like you were in like the Matrix kind of thing and in alien technology. It kind of made like stuff like insurance fraud a little too annoying. So the insurance fraud and stuff like that, those mini games were more fun in the third version of the game. Okay, next. I have to add this Pokemon. Pokemon's super important to me. And a lot of people are going to be mad, but Pokemon Scarlet, I guess they come in a double pack, but they're not really double. It doesn't matter. So Pokemon Scarlet, I actually chose Violet to play because I like the legendary. He looked cooler. And then the transformation of legendary was stupid. And the, Koraidon is just better. If it wasn't for the transformation of Miraidon, I think I would like Violet better, but you got the ancient Pokemon just look better. And I did not go through the game knowing any of that beforehand. It's like future should be cool. And then it's like, no, ancient was the way to go. So Pokemon Scarlet, I would argue put like maybe Heart Gold in this place. But come on, with the story of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then the expansions, I can't choose anything but Scarlet and Violet. It's just what it is. Okay, next I'm going to have a racing game on there. I loved racing games when I grew up. And my favorite racing game of all time, oops, not 34, Midnight Club 3. I don't know what the difference is on here, but I think this one is more content. So, on PS2, and I played on PS3, but I don't know if it's on PS3 or if it was just backwards compatible. But Midnight Club 3. I like how you can get the dub edition of the vehicles. I like how you can do like, it's basically like a racing game mixed with like a Pimp My Ride, mixed with like Fast and Furious kind of thing. This Midnight Club 3 was my favorite of the racing games. And I wish they wouldn't have killed the series. It would be awesome if they brought that back. Alright, Final Fantasy. Again, I'm only listing one Final Fantasy game. A lot of people are going to be mad at this, because growing up I didn't care for the turn-based, other than like Pokemon and a couple other games. So when I did the Final Fantasy turn-based, it was a little more annoying. So when I did Final Fantasy, my favorite Final Fantasy game, kind of like how I love the Final Fantasy characters, but Kingdom Hearts I think is better because I like the combat style better. This is the same kind of case, but I also like the character in this one better. And that's going to be Dirge of Cerberus. Also, the case was like holographic and shit, and that was cool on the PS2. But Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, you turn into like a werewolf dude. You're Vincent Valentine. And it's got that combat style that I prefer. So Final Fantasy Dirge of Cerberus is actually the one that I'm going to add on here. Next, I'm going to do an Elder Scrolls game. And I just have to do Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim has to be on there. I put like 600 hours into Skyrim. I have it for every console. I have it for PC. I beat it multiple times. It's one of the best games to use a bow and arrow. But also, I was a vampire in the original game, and that kind of sucked, but the expansion made it worth it. And that's great. You could be a vampire lord. It took away all of the downsides, and you just kept all the benefits. I love Skyrim. They probably released it way too much though. Okay, next. I'm going to do Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just the perfect Western game. If I didn't have Red Dead Redemption on here, I would put Gun. So I will show you what the thing is. It's this yellow case right here. It's basically Red Dead Redemption before Red Dead Redemption, and it was a really fun game. Had a lot of stuff going on with it. But Red Dead Redemption is it's a huge game. There's so much to do in it. The online is great. It's like the perfect Western game. It is less than Wet though on my list, but take that as you want. I just thought Wet was better. Red Dead Redemption 2, it takes 50, 60, 70 hours to beat. And there are some slow parts in the game, which is why I have it lower on my list. Okay, next. I'm doing Luigi's Mansion 3. While Luigi's Mansion, the original one, is fun, Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of improves a lot of things. And it's just, I liked it better. So, Luigi's Mansion 3, going to be on here. I don't know what you want to say about my list so far. You can kind of come to whatever conclusion. But, Luigi's Mansion 3. Next, I'm doing Mario Odyssey. Okay, they have a lot of... I want to pick one that doesn't look stupid. Okay, so Super Mario Odyssey. It's probably the greatest 3D Mario game. I did have a hard time picking between this game and Mario 64. But overall, I think with all of the, like, how much time I've put into it, Mario Odyssey, and, like, how many, like, all that kind of stuff, Mario Odyssey is probably better. I think it is more fun. But then again, it could just be kind of biased because while I'm nostalgic for 64, I have beat the game so many times, 100% in it, that it's like, what would I rather 100% right now? It's going to be Odyssey. Okay. Next, I'm going to do Hitman 2. And the only reason really for this Hitman 2 is because it's the Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 put together. This is the episodic one, but it's just real fun to mess around with. My favorite part in Mission Impossible on the N64 was doing the mask change and everything. And that was just super fun. So I'm going to do Hitman 2 because it's amazing to do the stealth and killing and all kinds of different things. Throwing bottles at people and shit. It's just fun. Now, I grew up with Tony Hawk games. Tony Hawk games have been a big part of my life. So I have to do a Tony Hawk game. My favorite Tony Hawk's game is Underground because you could get off your board. It had a lot of added combo stuff. And I like the story. Eric stealing your trick and shit. You know, fuck that guy. I just really like Tony Hawk Underground. I did play Underground 2 and all that stuff, but Underground, it's just, I like it better. Plus, I think you can unlock like Iron Man and shit. But Underground, custom character and all that stuff, really fun game. Next is my Star Wars. I'm doing Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it's going to be the original Battlefront 2. Because it's a lot better than anything EA made. Yeah, EA Battlefront 2 can look good. Cool. But you know what game mode is my favorite game mode in Battlefront? Which they don't have in the new Battlefronts. When you're on the ship, and then you can go to the little dock, and then you could jump into a like TIE fighter, and then you could fly to the enemy ship, and then park in their ship, and then get out and go kill them from inside their own ship. That was fun. I really love doing that. And then I also played the Jedi battles where I always picked Ki-Adi Mundi. And then I'd always like do one-on-one Jedi fights with that. Super fun game mode. But just because of that fly from ship to ship, I had to get the original Battlefront 2. So much I played so much on the PS2 with my my neighbor. All right, next. I'm going to do Bully. I 100% Bully. It was a really fun time. I played on PS2. So, getting all the rubber band and using the rubber band ball was really cool. I really like the game. It's Grand Theft Auto, but in like a private school. Just fun. Okay, next I'm going to do Sly Cooper. Whoops. Whoa, that is just moving everything. Okay. Sly Cooper. One of my favorite like mascot characters of all time. I was more of a Sly Cooper person than I was a Jack and Dexter or a Crash Bandicoot or a Spyro kind of person. So that's why Sly Cooper is down here on the list. It's just fun being a thievius raccoon. Okay, next. Really, for the bow play, Tomb Raider is amazing. There's so many Tomb Raiders though. Did I skip it? I did. Okay. I grew up with Tomb Raider, PS1 Tomb Raider all the time. Angel of Darkness sucks, but that's because of the control schemes. It would have been good if it wasn't control so clunky. But Tomb Raider by Square Enix, very good remake. I love the direction that they went into. And yeah, it's really fun to go around and snipe people with bows and arrows and shit. Although, one of the best parts in Tomb Raider is locking the butler in the freezer. Alright, next. I'm going to do Borderlands. Now, I didn't care much for Borderlands 1. I do enjoy 3 a lot, and then I like pre-sequel. But come on, Handsome Jack, though, is just... You know, arguably, he was a good guy. I think he was a good guy. And then everyone kind of ruined it for him. So, Borderlands 2. Looter Shooters is great. What else to say? The dialogues with Handsome Jack is fucking funny. Okay, next. I was never a Mario Kart kind of guy. So, I like Mario Kart. And it's going to be on the list. However, I don't like Mario Kart for the racing. I liked Mario Kart for the battles. The kart racer I liked for the racing is not Crash Bandicoot, but it's Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah, which one's the N64? I don't know if it's this one or not. But Diddy Kong Racing for the N64 is the game that I liked the most for the kart racing. You know, a lot of other people didn't like it. And I will tell you, it's biased. I like Diddy Kong Racing more. Specifically because of Banjo-Kazooie was a character in Diddy Kong Racing. If Banjo-Kazooie was in, you know, Mario Kart, then Mario Kart would have been my favorite. But because Banjo was on Diddy Kong Racing on N64, Diddy Kong Racing is my favorite kart runner. Alright, next. This is a game that I played a lot on N64. And it is Rampage. I don't see... I can't tell on the actual, like, game art. I don't see the N64. Because I know what the N64 cartridge looks like. I don't know what the box looks like. But Rampage. It is a really fun game growing up on N64. Just going around smashing buildings and they all fall down and shit. I just had a lot of fun. I was thinking about putting like Blast Corps on here, but I only really like that for like driving around. Next is Mario Kart. And it's Mario Kart 64. Like I said, I haven't really played much into the new Mario Karts. But Mario Kart 64, I played with my little sister. And we always played the battle with the balloons. And that was my favorite game mode on Mario Kart 64. You know, I did the races and everything, but I just preferred the battles. They were just more fun. Next is 007. Now, if I'm talking about N64, unpopular, but I am probably going to do Road Is Not Enough over GoldenEye. Just because I like the levels more. However, I'm doing Nightfire for PS2. Again, because of my sister. We always played multiplayer on 007. And 007 Nightfire was a great multiplayer game. Another, like, Agent Under Fire was good as well. But the multiplayer I only liked for the, like, actual trip mines and stuff. So, it is what it is. Those are the two PS2 007 games. I think after Nightfire, they kind of all went downhill. From Russia with Love and all that stuff, they're not very good, in my opinion. I didn't like the GoldenEye remake either. So, I think it kind of like, Nightfire is where 007 ended as far as like the good 007 games. Next, I'm doing Paper Mario. Very fun RPG. I owned it forever. Right? And I just never played it. And then there was one day, like, I didn't know what to play on, like, PlayStation 3. So I just booted up the N64 and I put Paper Mario in. And then I 100% it. Like, it was super fun. It was my first Paper Mario and is my favorite Paper Mario. Alright. Next, I'm going to do God of War 2. I could do original collection. No, that's Ghost of Spars and Chains. I'm just doing God of War 2. I think there's a trilogy in there. Yeah. Specifically God of War 2. But God of War trilogy. I know it's unpopular that I prefer Chaos Chains Kratos compared to the new Kratos. So I am more into Greek mythology than I am Nordic mythology. So because of that, I prefer Greek God of War rather than Nordic God of War. If you're someone who enjoys Vikings more, you're going to like the new ones more. But because I prefer the Greek mythology more, my preference is going to be with the Greek God of War games. So God of War 2. Next, I'm going to do a Halo game. Halo Reach. I love the story of Halo Reach. I love the designs of the Spartans. It's my favorite Halo. I have a full thing on. I think we went through Reach 1, 2, 3, ODST, all on YouTube with my buddy Gonzilla Beats. So that's on YouTube if you ever want to see that. But Reach is my favorite one when we replayed all of them. I guess technically, you would do Master Chief Collection then. Because the Master Chief Collection, I think Reach and all of them they're all on there, but they're like a DLC expansion kind of thing that you bought separate from what was on the disc. But I think technically it's on there. I think Halo Reach is on Master Chief. If it's not on Master Chief, it's Halo Reach. But I think Halo Reach is actually on Master Chief now. Alright, next. The Witcher 3. It is farther down. If I replay Witcher 3, it might go higher up on the list. But as far as CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk is my favorite of them. Even though I prefer a fantasy setting, just the way that Cyberpunk is with Keanu Reeves and the tech and all that stuff, I had to pick Cyberpunk so high. But The Witcher 3 is an amazing thing, and it's really cool that they announced updates that are coming out for it, which is super out of nowhere. Next, I'm doing Black Ops, the original Black Ops. I just love the story of the original Black Ops. I think it was real fun. The whole this guy might not be real, you don't know what's real and all this kind of stuff. I just like Black Ops. It was a fun game. My favorite Call of Duty game. And it was the game that got me into Call of Duty. I played every Call of Duty since then and before. But Black Ops is what I got into because I started working at Kroger at the time. And we had our gamer tags on it was like our PlayStation gamer tags on our name badges instead of our real names. And the entire stock crew did that. And the entire stock crew would just play Black Ops since day one. And that was super fun. Next, my favorite fighting game, if I spelled it right, is going to be Soul Calibur. I'm going to do this one. Yeah, I think I put the E instead of a U. It doesn't matter. So, the Nintendo Soul Calibur 2 is the one I prefer. However, I played it on every console. I bought it. This is 4 as well. No. I don't see the... I don't know. It's Soul Calibur 2. You had different characters. I forgot who. I think it was like Kratos or something on PlayStation. But Nintendo is Link, and that's why I prefer the Nintendo one. But at the time, I didn't get much video games. But Soul Calibur 2, I asked for multiple copies of it. Just so I'd have different, I could play different ones. Although growing up, I wasn't able to have multiple. Because we had the rule of only one console per... I was only allowed to have one console. So when I got a PS2, they gave away the N64 and all that shit, which is annoying. You know, if it's my console, they shouldn't give it away. But Soul Calibur 2, really fun. I liked having Link. Next, I will be honest, I never owned this game. I owned something called Jam Pack. So back in the day, Jam Pack was a little $2 demo disc that you would get over at like a Target, or sometimes they'd be free. You go to like Target and they have like a little magazine and you have a demo disc, and it's called Jam Pack. And I think it was Jam Pack 2000, which was for the year. And it had like, you know, a demo of like SSX Tricky and all kinds of other stuff. And War of the Monsters was on there. I played, like, War of the Monsters is like a Godzilla game where you're fighting another kaiju in like a city, but you're destroying things, and like you could pick up like giant scaffolding, and then you could throw it and impel the other dude with it. Super fun. Really loved it. All right, I'm doing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I gotta be honest, New Horizons for the Switch is my first Animal Crossing game ever. And I played it because everybody else was playing it. And I actually got into it because of Bob Wolf from Wolf Den. So when Animal Crossing was coming out, he was doing the opposite of everybody else. And he was basically turning his island into New York City, where he was like paving, like he was getting rid of trees and he was putting like pavement down and roads and shit. And I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And he had like street lights and shit. I was like, that is not at all what you're supposed to be doing with this island simulate, like farm simulator game. And it made me get it. And I used the same codes he did. And I basically made my own city in Animal Crossing, and it was so much fun. Thanks, Bob Wolf, for wasting 2,000 hours of my life. Man, it was fun. Definitely Animal Crossing is on my radar now. Alright, next. I try to replay this, and I can't. And I don't know if it's just because it looks terrible now. But Jet Force Gemini. I love Jet Force Gemini when I grow up. It's on here for nostalgia reasons. I cannot replay it. It just, I can't get through the look. As soon as they make a remaster or HD version of it, I am definitely going to pick that back up again. Jet Force Gemini was fun. I also played it with my little sister. They had a multiplayer mode. So that was really good on there. Now I'm going to do Spyro Trilogy. Not Trilogy. Alright, Spyro Trilogy. I originally had the original Spyro the Dragon on here. But if the trilogy's here, you might as well do it. And okay, so honestly, you could probably remove some stuff on my list. So like Banjo-Kazooie, like Jet Force Gemini, stuff like that. You could probably replace the Banjo-Kazooie line with, say, Rare Replay. But, you know, why do that? So, Spyro the Dragon, one of my favorite mascots, but not too far up there. I like how he looks. My cousin loved Spyro the Dragon a lot. She loves Spyro. Next, I'm going to do Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets for PS2. You had so many things you can unlock. You had all those little, like, wizardy cards, chocolate frogs, and all that shit. Just really fun game. I think after Prisoner of Azkaban is on there too. What do I like more? Chamber of Secrets or Prisoner? Oh. I think I have to do Prisoner. Because I like flying around on the hippogriff. Yeah, when Goblet of Fire came out, it ruined Harry Potter. And then everything after Goblet of Fire sucked. But Prisoner of Azkaban, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban is kind of a toss-up. I'm doing Prisoner of Azkaban because it's my favorite movie. But Chamber of Secrets is also an amazing game. It's a real toss up on which one is actually there. Next, I'm going to do Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Is it 2 words? It is. Okay. Alright, Splinter Cell is really fun. I liked it. I liked Mission Impossible growing up. Although, I only liked like really 2 levels of Mission Impossible. And I just played the 2 levels over and over and over again for hundreds of hours. So I feel like I couldn't add it onto the list. So I put Splinter Cell. Also, a big part of why I like Splinter Cell is because of G4 TV. They had a little video that they do like little skits, and it was like Super Agent Steve and Secret Agent Bob or something like that. They were funny growing up. I don't know if they withstand the test of time. Like, I don't know if my humor outgrew them. But Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, awesome. This next game, it would be higher if there was a way to play it on backwards compatibility. But as far as I know, it's the only Max Payne game you cannot play on backwards compatibility, unless they added it recently. But Max Payne 3. Yeah, slow time and all that kind of stuff. Just really fun. Really like Max Payne 3. Next, I'm doing Enter the Matrix. I played on PS2. I don't think that's the box case for it, but it's the only one that popped up. So, is there... No, they don't have the PS2 cases. Okay. But Enter the Matrix on PS2. It was just really fun to mess around in slow time and all that. If you did use cheat codes in Enter the Matrix, it would also use it for the agents. So like if you were like, kind of like in GoldenEye, if you do invincibility, 006 is also invincible. Same thing here. The agents were invincible. But they were fun to like kind of knock off of the buildings and shit. And just kind of go find around there. Alright. Another game is Musashi Samurai Legend. PS2. It was just a really fun game. It was bought for me, and they're just like, hey, you play this Kingdom Hearts game, this looks similar to it, and it was $5 at a pawn shop. Here you go. It was fun. I really liked it. Nothing like Kingdom Hearts, but it was a really fun game to run around and play with. So that was cool. All right, next, top 50 of all time. I had two games in this spot. Frogger is going to be the one I don't add. But I believe I have to add Tetris. You can always play Tetris. It doesn't matter where you are, what time it is. You can always play Tetris. Whether you play Tetris 99 or I prefer just Tetris. It's just great. Let me add this one. It looks better. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be my top 50 games ever on my list. So I only spent like an hour thinking about this. But I don't think I forgot anything real important. I think this is a pretty good list. You know, the farther down you go, the more muddy the order seems. But that's fine. I think it's pretty accurate. The top ones are definitely accurate. Like the top, like, I don't know, I'd say 15 are spot on. But yeah, so amazing. Might do some stuff like swap out, like maybe I'd put Skylanders a little bit farther down and put Batman farther up. Might lower like Minecraft a little bit, I don't know. But they're pretty accurate. I know the ones I know for a fact is definitely the top 6. Kingdom Hearts, Majora's, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Gex, and Banjo-Kazooie. Those are definitely supposed to be there. Those are definitely my top 6. The other ones are probably changes on pod mood, but they're on there somewhere. So yeah, so let me know what you think below. Let me know what your list is. What are your favorite games of all time? I didn't add, like I said, when it comes to Souls-like games, Elden Ring's my favorite. When it came to other stuff, like, I like Mass Effect, but I don't like it enough to put on the list. I like other games, It's just, when I was thinking about it, it was like, I had a bunch more games. I could easily do a top 100, but it was like, I'm not going to add it to the list. I ended up thinking of something else, and I put it on there. Forza Horizons is really fun, but Midnight Club. Need for Speed's really fun, but I like Midnight Club. If I could pick more than one game of every series, the list would be huge. But the list would also be annoying as heck, because this makes it fun, right? If I could pick more than one series, like more than one game in a series, nothing stopped me from having God of War 1, God of War 2, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, along with multiple Pokemon, multiple Zelda games, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kingdom Hearts 2, 358 by 2 days, Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, there's so many more I'd add on. Banjo-Tooie. Like I said, you could put Rare Replay in Banjo-Kazooie's spot, because it's technically on there. But, yeah. Other than that, I think I'm pretty good. I think how much games would Rare Replay actually remove? Is it just Jet Force and Banjo? So really it'd be just removing one. Yeah, so if you do this, if you remove Jet Force Gemini and you mix Banjo-Kazooie and Jet Force Gemini into a Rare Replay, then what would be the game that I would add as well? It would probably just be damn, what would it be? Oh yeah, Borderlands 2. You can also make that the Borderlands trilogy, or whatever it's called. The one that has Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel on it. You'd probably put it there. But actually, you know what? If we can put Jet Force Gemini and Banjo-Kazooie on Rare Replay, then what happens if I mark this out? So if I do here, remove that, and then we do all of this here. It's called a Handsome Collection, right? There. That's my list. So I would do, yeah. Okay. And then you can swap out Kingdom Hearts for the 1.5 plus 2.5 HD remix if you want to, right? If we're going to do the collaboration kind of thing. So you could do this 1.5, 2.5 remix, HD collection. But Majora's Mask, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Gex Trilogy, Rare Replay, Trap Team, Stardew, Orange Box, Minecraft, Wet, Devil May Cry 3, Arkham Knight, Fallout 4, GTA 5, Saints Row 3, Scarlet, Midnight Club 3 Double Edition Remix, Dirge of Cerberus, Skyrim, Red Dead 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, Odyssey, Hitman 2, Underground, Original Battlefront 2, Bully, Sly Cooper, Tomb Raider, a Handsome Jack Collection for Borderlands 2, Diddy Kong Racing, Rampage, Mario Kart 64, Nightwing, Nightfire, Paper Mario, God of War 2, Halo Reach, Witcher 3, Black Ops, Soul Calibur 2 for GameCube, Lore of the Monsters, Animal Crossing, Spyro the Dragon, Prisoner of Azkaban, Splinter Cell, Max Payne 3, Enter the Matrix, Musashi Samurai Legend, Tetris, and Gun. That is going to be my top 50 list. All right, let me know what you think down below. If I could speak, I'm speaking way too much. Mouth is dry. All right, guys, I will see you all next time. Don't forget the game. Like God. Peace.